very good evening. You're watching the news at 6 on Rajya Sabha television with me, Frank Pereira. Here are the headlines. Security forces launch anti-militancy operation in 20 villages of South Kashmir. Stone pelting mobs hamper operations in the Zainapura area in Shopian. Election Commission to convene all-party meeting on May 12 to discuss reliability of EVMs. 7 national parties and 49 state parties to be invited. Indore judged the cleanest city in India. Bhopal takes second spot. 12 cities of Gujarat among the top 50 clean places in the country. And French presidential debate turns acrimonious. Centrist candidate Emmanuel Macron calls his far-right rival unworthy of the post. Marine Le Pen accuses him of being soft on Islamic State terror. Well, security forces launched a massive anti-militancy operation in Kashmir's Shopian district today, following inputs about the presence of militants in the area. Over 24 villages were cordoned off and searched, even as security forces faced protest in some places.
Security forces on Thursday launched a massive anti-terror operation in Kashmir's Shopian district. The search operation, jointly initiated by the Army, CRPF and the state police, started early morning with around 4,000 troops cordoning off more than 20 villages.
Combing operation goes on regularly. It is everyday affair. आज कोई नया combing operation नहीं हो रहा है, regular affair है. ये है कि थोड़ी अब की बार जो आज जो combing operation चल रहा है वो इसलिए हो रहा है कि कुछ बैंक लूटे गए हैं, कुछ हमारे पुलिसकर्मी मारे गए हैं, some policemen have been killed. So it is just to make sure that the situation is brought under control. These operations are carried out in a planned manner.
The search operation followed intelligence inputs about the presence of terrorists in the area. A number of videos surfaced recently showing large groups of heavily armed terrorists marching in the South Kashmir area. In the last 3 days, South Kashmir has seen a spate of attacks on banks and police. The operation, however, was hampered by small groups of people pelting stones at security forces in some places. Security forces also faced stone pelters in Kashmir's Sopore town as students clashed with the forces protesting against the arrest of their colleagues. At least 10 people were hurt in the clashes as police used batons and tear gas shells to disperse the protesters.
Maybe that will also calm the situation in these schools. That is important. We have to find a way forward, and way forward cannot be found by creating further tensions. The day in center must find a political solution to the problem of Kashmir. If they don't find a political solution to the Kashmir, this problem will continue to rise.
The clashes come in the wake of a police raid on April 15th on a government degree college in Pulwama. It triggered widespread student protests across the valley that have been continuing intermittently since then. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Well, the government today released its third Clean Cities survey. Indore was judged the cleanest city out of 434 cities, while Gonda in Uttar Pradesh was named the dirtiest city. The aim of the survey is to spread awareness about cleanliness in the country.
A nationwide survey found Indore the cleanest city and Uttar Pradesh's Gonda district the dirtiest in 2016. Bhopal was ranked second, while Visakhapatnam and Surat were judged the third and fourth cleanest cities. The government's Swachh Sarvekshan 2017 surveyed 434 cities that saw Mysuru slipping to number 5 from the top rankings that it achieved in the last 2 surveys. The New Delhi Municipal Corporation area that houses 1.5% of Delhi's 16.78 million residents slipped to 7th position, dropping 3 places from last year. Navi Mumbai was the cleanest city in Maharashtra at number 8, followed by Pune that was ranked at 13. Prime Minister Narendra Modi's constituency Varanasi was ranked 32, a dramatic improvement from 2014 when it was close to the bottom at 418 among 476 cities. Gujarat had 12 names in the top 50 clean cities, followed by Madhya Pradesh with 11 and Andhra Pradesh with 8. Uttar Pradesh accounted for half of the bottom 50 cities in the rankings.
जो प्रथम स्थान में, द्वितीय स्थान में, तृतीय स्थान में, नहीं तो कम से कम टॉप 50 में पहुंच गया, उन लोगों ने क्या किया है, उनका उदाहरण से कुछ सीखना और अपना इलाका में भी ऐसी योजना अमल करने के लिए प्रयास करना, यही मुख्य उद्देश्य है।
The survey was conducted for the third year and took into account 500 cities with a population of 1 lakh and above under the Swachh Bharat Mission Urban. Launched in 2014, the Swachh Bharat campaign aims to make India clean and open defecation free by 2019, the 150th birth anniversary year of Mahatma Gandhi. Cities were evaluated on 5 parameters: waste collection, solid waste management, construction of toilets, sanitation strategies and behavior change communication. Cities in West Bengal were not ranked as the state government did not participate in the survey. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
The Election Commission is likely to convene an all-party meeting on the 12th of May to discuss the issue of electronic voting machines. As many as 16 opposition parties have questioned the reliability of the EVMs. At a press conference last Saturday, Chief Election Commissioner Naseem Zaidi had said that efforts will be made to convince parties that the machines are reliable and tamper-proof. Recently, 16 opposition parties urged the poll panel to revert to the ballot system, claiming that the faith of the people in EVMs had been eroded. Meanwhile, the Commission booked multiple venues in the national capital. The venue of the meeting will be finalized on the basis of the participation of parties. According to reports, 7 national parties and 49 state parties will be invited.
इलेक्शन कमीशन जल्दी ही एक ऑल पार्टी मीटिंग करेंगे, जिसमें ईवीएम के बारे में उनको बताया जाएगा कि किस प्रकार से हमारी ईवीएम नॉन टेम्परेबल हैं, सिक्योर्ड हैं हमारे एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव और टेक्निकल सेफगार्ड्स के अंतर्गत। मेरे ख्याल में भारत पहला देश होगा जहां पे 100% वीवीपैट्स यानी कि पेपर ऑडिट ट्रेल का इस्तेमाल हर पोलिंग स्टेशन पर किया जाएगा, और ऐसा करना मेरे ख्याल में वोटर्स के कॉन्फिडेंस को और भी बढ़ावा देगा और भी पारदर्शिता लाएगा पूरी इलेक्शन प्रोसेस में।
Calcutta High Court Justice C.S. Karnan remained defiant as he declined to undergo a medical examination as ordered by the Supreme Court. Justice Karnan refused the test in a written statement informing a 4-member medical team that he is quite normal and has a stable mind. In the statement, Justice Karnan also accused the Supreme Court of insulting and harassing him. Justice Karnan had ordered issuance of non-bailable warrants to 7 Supreme Court judges, including Chief Justice J.S. Keher, for not being represented before him. Justice Karnan had passed the judicial order saying it was to protect the general public from corruption and unrest. Moving on now, ISRO will launch the South Asia satellite aboard GSLV Mk2 launch vehicle from Sriharikota on Friday. It is a dream project of Prime Minister Narendra Modi aimed at sharing the fruits of technology with India's neighbors. All SAARC nations except Pakistan are partners of the SAC satellite project.
The South Asia satellite, also known as the GSAT-09 communication satellite, will be launched on Friday from the Satish Dhawan Space Center in Sriharikota. The satellite will be launched using a geostationary launch vehicle Mk2. The launch will be India's gift to its neighboring countries.
आज के समय में हर कंट्री को अपना एक कम्युनिकेशन का सैटेलाइट चाहिए होता है, तो श्रीलंका के पास किसी और कंट्री ने दिया हुआ है, बांग्लादेश फ्रांस के साथ रिलेशन डेवलप कर रहा है कि उनकी स्पेस एजेंसी उनको एक दे, और चाइना ने तो पाकिस्तान के लिए भी किया हुआ है। तो ये जो इसके जो बेनिफिट जो हम लोग चाहते हैं, हर एक कंट्री जो चाहती है, तो वो अगर हम लोग ये मिलकर ये काम करेंगे तो ये एक तरह से आपस में जो रिलेशंस हैं उनको सुधारने का भी काम करेगा, क्योंकि हम लोग एक सिंगल कंट्री से ऊपर उठकर हम लोग इसको देख रहे हैं, पूरे पर्सपेक्टिव में देख रहे हैं, जिसको हम लोग आज हम लोग बोलते हैं ग्लोबल विलेज है, पूरे का पूरा विश्व जो है उसी तरह से ही होगा।
Built by ISRO, the South Asia satellite weighs 2,230 kilograms and has 12 Ku band transponders. The cost of the satellite is 235 crore rupees. It is cuboid in shape and built around a central cylinder. This mission has a life of over 12 years. This satellite will enable full range of applications and services in the areas of telecommunication, disaster management support, DTH, teleeducation and telemedicine.
तो GSLV करीब 3000 किलो या 3 टन का सैटेलाइट उसको 36,000 किलोमीटर का जो ऑर्बिट होता है उसमें डालने की उसमें क्षमता है। अब इस लॉन्च को मिलाकर हम ये कह सकते हैं कि GSLV भी एक तरह से हमारे लिए पावर हॉर्स बनता जा रहा है, क्योंकि हमें जब टेलीकम्युनिकेशन सैटेलाइट को ऑर्बिट में डालना होगा तो उसमें मार्केट भी बहुत ज़्यादा है इंटरनेशनली अगर उसको देखें, और जो हम लोगों ने क्रायोजेनिक इंजन जो इसके लिए डेवलप किया है वो हम लोगों ने खुद डेवलप किया। हमारी जो कॉस्ट है लॉन्चिंग की वो दूसरी कंट्री से कम आ रही है।
The satellite was announced by Prime Minister Narendra Modi during the 2014 SAARC summit in Nepal. It was earlier referred to as the SAARC satellite, but was renamed after Pakistan opted out. Launching this satellite is a vital step for India to enhance cooperation between its neighbours. Arun Thakur's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
Another news now, India has asked the UK to ensure early extradition of businessman Vijay Mallya. Union Home Secretary Rajiv Maharishi raised the issue with his UK counterpart Patsy Wilkinson when the two met in New Delhi on Thursday. The two officials discussed all pending extradition cases at the meeting. Britain has agreed to help India in 10 such cases. In return, New Delhi assured support in extraditing 11 fugitives that Britain seeks. India and Britain will also sign a memorandum of understanding in July on security cooperation and extradition. Well, here's a look now at what else is making news from across the country in Nationwide. The Bombay High Court on Thursday upheld the conviction of 12 persons in the Bilkis Bano gang rape case. The court also dismissed an appeal filed by the CBI seeking death penalty for 3 of the convicts. The court further set aside the acquittal of 6 persons convicted for tampering of evidence in the case. 17 people, including Bilkis Bano, were attacked in Dahod district of Gujarat in the aftermath of the 2002 Godhra riots. The CBI carried out searches at the residence and office of former Delhi Health Secretary Tarun Seem in connection with alleged irregularities in hiring 3 private firms for the security of city government hospitals. A case of corruption was registered against Seem. The probe agency has alleged that the total cost of work was approximately 10.5 crore rupees, which caused a huge loss to the exchequer. The NGT on Thursday issued a notice to the Centre, Uttarakhand government and the BRO in regard to the illegal dumping of debris into the Ganga River. The Green Tribunal has also asked Uttarakhand's Additional Secretary Forest to appear in person on May 31st. The state government has promised to crack down on the issue. The Supreme Court sought a response from Kerala over maintenance of the Mullaperiyar Dam. This after Tamil Nadu filed an appeal alleging that Kerala was not allowing it to maintain the dam. The top court will hear the petition in the second week of July. Well, it's time for a short break now, but news and updates will continue on the other side. Stay tuned, we'll be right back.
Harappan sites are a treasure trove of sophisticated pottery. These creations show tremendous advances by the potter's wheel. Creations like the perforated jar, the copper axe, the chisel and knives astound even present-day archaeologists. Figurines depicting yoga poses, chess pieces display a complexity unsurpassed even by later-day civilizations, all of which make the Harappan civilization truly unique.
Art arisen from a multi-hued cultural canvas. Tradition and cultural fervor dating back centuries. And encircling them all, there's a magic that awes. Embrace your nation's brilliant human warmth. Watch Colours of India, Sundays at 9:30 p.m. on Rajya Sabha television. Homai Vyarawala, better known by her pseudonym Dalda 13, was India's first woman photojournalist. Vyarawala entered the field of photojournalism in the late 1930s. For nearly 30 years, till she retired in the early 1970s, at the peak of her career, she made a massive impact. Vyarawala clicked some iconic pictures of political and national leaders. Gandhiji, Nehru, Jinnah, Indira Gandhi have been subjects of her vast photographic collection. Prime Minister Nehru, she says, was her favourite. In 2011, Homai Vyarawala was conferred the Padma Vibhushan, the country's second highest civilian award.
Welcome back. You're watching Rajya Sabha television. Now to France, where presidential candidates Marine Le Pen and Emmanuel Macron traded accusations and insults as they clashed over their vision of France's future, the euro and ways of fighting terrorism. The ill-tempered television debate was nothing short of drama, and the sharpest exchange was over national security. A snap poll conducted after the debate said 63% found Macron more convincing than Le Pen. Here are more details.
Millions of viewers tuned in on Thursday to watch the head-to-head debate between centrist candidate Emmanuel Macron and the far-right Marine Le Pen. While Macron claimed his opponent was unworthy of holding the French presidency, Le Pen accused her rival of grovelling in front of big banks and the EU. For Le Pen, the 2.5-hour debate was a last major chance to persuade voters who placed her as second favourite after round 1 on April 29th. And she tried her best to paint Macron as a darling of the system.
Je suis la candidate du pouvoir d'achat. Vous, monsieur Macron, vous êtes le candidat du pouvoir d'acheter la France, hein, de la dépecer. Puisque dans votre société, ben oui, c'est important quand même de savoir quelle est la philosophie de votre projet. Dans votre société, tout est à vendre et tout est à acheter.
Le Pen went on to accuse Macron of being complacent on Islamic extremism as she sought to portray herself as strong on security, one of the issues which has dominated the campaign.
C'est une problématique absolument majeure, totalement absente de votre projet. Totalement absente. Aucune proposition qui tienne la route. C'est-à-dire que la sécurité physique de nos compatriotes et la lutte contre le terrorisme et le fondamentalisme islamiste, vous ne voulez pas le mener. Vous ne voulez pas le mener, monsieur Macron, moi je sais pourquoi. Bon. Contre le terrorisme, il faut d'abord retrouver nos frontières nationales, tout de suite, immédiatement. Et ça, ce sera quelque chose que je ferai immédiatement après mon arrivée au pouvoir.
For more than 2 hours, the anchors of the debate struggled to get a word in as the two finalists took each other on more frontally and aggressively than at any point in the campaign so far. Macron called Le Pen a liar and accused her of sowing hatred. He also claimed that her policies would lead to civil war.
Ce qui est extraordinaire, c'est que votre stratégie, mais c'est normal, ça fait des décennies que ça dure. Votre stratégie, c'est simplement de dire beaucoup de mensonges et de dire tout ce qui ne va pas dans le pays, mais vous ne proposez rien.
As Le Pen spoke, French journalists fact-checked her every word, calling her out on several of her pledges and accusations. But it was hardly necessary as Macron took apart her programme and defended what had appeared to be the harder case to make, that the answer to France's problems was more Europe rather than less.
Maintenant, l'euro, vous proposez d'en sortir. Moi, je dis que c'est un projet mortifère et que c'est un projet dangereux et que votre bidouillage que vous nous avez fait dans le week-end avec M. Dupont-Aignan n'a aucun sens. D'ailleurs, il manifeste une impréparation crasse.
Mais vous, votre
parce que-
vision
non,
de
mais
l'Europe.
The two went into the debate with opinion polls showing Macron with a strong lead of 20 percentage points. Unfortunately for Le Pen, the picture doesn't look too different even after the debate, as a survey done by BFM TV said 63% found Macron more convincing than Le Pen. By Sunday night in France, voters will deliver the real verdict on the two completely different visions. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Well, here's a roundup of the other international news in Global Buzz. US President Donald Trump's effort to roll back Obamacare gained momentum on Wednesday as Republican leaders scheduled a vote in the House of Representatives on Thursday on the newly revised legislation. Even if a narrow majority in the House approves the bill, it still faces a steep climb in the Senate, where only a few defections could kill the effort. Wavering moderate Republicans had worried that the legislation to overhaul Obama's healthcare law would leave too many people with pre-existing medical conditions unable to afford health coverage. At least 35 people were reportedly killed in a coal mine explosion in northern Iran on Wednesday. At least 25 people were hospitalized during rescue operations. President Hassan Rouhani issued an order to the government to use all available resources to rescue those still trapped. During a meeting with election officials on Wednesday, Venezuelan President Nicolás Maduro presented a decree for a constituent assembly and said that the vote for the new assembly would take place in the coming weeks. On Wednesday, youth lit fires and hurled stones at security forces who fired tear gas and used water cannons to stop their demonstration against the president. Violence continued throughout the country, in which at least 33 people have been killed, hundreds injured and arrested since the anti-Maduro unrest began in early April. Well, the North Korean state media has issued a stinging denunciation of the country's chief ally and diplomatic backer, China, and said that Beijing should be grateful for its protection. KCNA carried a bylined commentary warning of grave consequences if China tests its patience further. The move came after China's foreign ministry on Wednesday said that it opposes any moves that could endanger peace and stability on the Korean peninsula. Buckingham Palace announced that the 95-year-old Duke of Edinburgh will stop carrying out public engagements later this year from autumn. Prince Philip has given the full support to the Queen. The Duke of Edinburgh is patron, president or a member of over 780 organizations with which he will continue to be associated, although he will no longer play an active role by attending engagements. However, officials said that there was no cause for concern about the welfare of the Queen or Philip. Well, let's now shift focus and bring you up to speed with some sports news from around the world of sports and sports beat. Indian boxers Shiva Thapa and Vikas Krishnan stormed into the quarterfinals of the Asian Boxing Championship. Shiva defeated Kyrgyzstan's Omubrek Malabatkov by 2-1. The match was stopped in the second round due to an injury to Malabakov. In another match, World Championship bronze medalist Vikas eased past Vietnam's Dinh Huang Truong by 3-0. He will now face second seed Chakhon Kurbanov of Tajikistan, while Thapa will face top seed Chinzorig Batarpsuk in the semi-finals on Friday. Shapat Bharadwaj reached his first ever ISSF World Cup stage final after finishing fourth following a shoot-off in a men's double trap event in Larnaca. Shapat was one of the 4 shooters to finish with a score of 135. Russian Vasily Mosin topped the table with a score of 142 to qualify directly, while there were 2 shoot-offs, one to determine second and third positions and the other to determine places 4 to 7. Juventus striker Gonzalo Higuain struck twice to beat rivals Monaco 2-0 in the first leg of the Champions League semi-final. Monaco breezed through the tournament with a free-scoring top club competition with just 2 goals conceded in the campaign. Second-seeded Richard Gasquet of France defeated Argentina's Carlos Berloc in straight sets to book a spot in the Estoril Open quarterfinals. Gasquet won the match 6-1, 6-4 with an overhead smash to set up a match with Kevin Anderson. Earlier, Pablo Carreño beat Tommy Robredo 7-6, 7-5. Well, that's it on this newscast. Have a good evening.